Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays Kerbal Space Program. This episode, I'm actually genuinely discouraged about a lack of progress. So this episode, we're gonna get down to brass tacks. It's lighter. We don't need to bring Jeb back. We need to bring science back before we can bring Jeb back. For this section, are these reliance or swivels? I can't remember. We're basically just gonna do some tinkering here to try to make this a better, I mean, just a better rocket, more or less. I still sort of think, let's scrap this whole thing. I know you're like, please God, don't make me watch you build this rocket from scratch again. Nah, I'm gonna do you one better, I think. So let's go to structural. We are gonna go back to the asparagus staged version that we were using before, but we're gonna make it smaller. Previously we were using like 3 of these bad boys. That's outrageous. Maybe we were only using 2, I can't remember. Let's just try, and I know this looks pretty bad right now, but hear me out. I'm gonna try the asparagus method. I don't know why that sounds like kind of dirty. With huge F-me engines. Ask your parents what that means. And like outrageous amounts of fuel, but in a more compressed state, or a tighter state, if that makes sense. So essentially, give me some bilateral symmetry. Actually, bilateral symmetry machine broke. Understandable. Have a good day. He's so hip with the memes. I have to pay very close attention to our tonnage issue here. But in theory, I don't know if this is enough thrust to get us off the ground. But if it is, we're about to find out. And you got to admit, it's like a freaking cool looking rocket, which is a start for us. So we still got a lot to do here. Just give me a moment. The first step is setting up the asparagus, which I say every time. This goes here, and then this goes here. And it should work. Yeah, I mean, it looks a little horrible, but that's fine. And then these need to be set up to fire at the same time, and there's one more that never fires, and then these ones pop first, that's correct, then these ones pop, everything else is exactly the same. Good. What else do you need? Well, you need struts, as we recall, the most wonderful reindeer of all. Yeah. Gonna try the Delta Deluxe winglets. If this is the source of our problem, I am presently unaware. And finally, structural. Launch stability. Second to last, I should say, because I do have one last thing I want to do, and that's include some kind of like electrical generation. Holds 100 units of charge. I'm just gonna stick 2 of these onto the pod. Or let's put them on the science and hope that they transmit here. Put 4 of them on there. If they burn up in re-entry, I don't care at all. But I want to be able to use SAS. Hopefully this just provides electricity through the ship. I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. Alright. Let's try this. We still don't have very much fuel in our last section. So you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. And I'm gonna put one more fuel tank here. Double the amount of fuel we have for that section. Well, actually, it's not. It's adding like 20% now that I think about it, but it's some, okay? Now, the actual final thing. Why are there only 2 engines down here? No, you're very silly. You messed up the staging. Why? Why? It was working fine before. You had it. Boom. Boom, Boom, boom. I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together from now until forever. Let's go. Okay, this is our redemption. By the way, this thing's gonna have some herding power when it takes off. Oh, this is too fast. Yeah, this is too fast. Okay, no. Classic mistake. You know, we're gonna get some of those. Don't turn so fast. Just little turns. I'm not sure how much the drag from the landing gear actually matters when we've got, like, 5 nuclear bombs strapped to the bottom of our rocket here, but... Yo, slow your roll. You don't need to go this fast. No, you've overcompensated. That's fine. That's fine. Revert flight. Revert to launch. I started to peel back to the left, and then I made a mistake, essentially. Let's keep ourselves, like, thrust limited to start with this. Again, there's no reason we need to go so fast. You probably should continue to accelerate. I think that's a relatively smart choice of action. And then just, again, slowly execute this G-turn. This has the added benefit of potentially completing that one contract as well, but I want to knock them all out at once because the contracts are worth like 6% of what the actual science of going to the moon is worth. No. You make me so mad. We slow down and all of a sudden, like, I don't know if it's air drag or asymmetry or what, but it's really cheesing me off, dude. Okay, so what's the new setup? Don't even sweat the 45-degree gravity turn. Gonna do like a 30-degree gravity turn, and we're gonna like it. And we're very occasionally gonna tap the D key. YouTube don't like it. Tap the D key. No. See, we're losing it. We're losing it. You recovered. Oh my God, he's a god. Now we're gonna have some serious problems in just a sec here, because we're gonna become very off balance when we. I hate it. I don't know what to say. What is the problem? Why do you go straight up? Fine. If you introduce the slightest little bit, causes problems here. Okay, so here's the next step. It's troubleshooting. I'm not getting unbelievably tilted to begin with here. We're not gonna go thrust limited. We're gonna burn up the first stage with no turn. And it's, you know, that one I owe myself a slap on the wrist because I didn't have SAS on. So any error might have been like multiplicative there. Is it like the, no, I'm still wobbling. Should be the title of my autobiography. So we'll thrust limit now, because again, we're probably just needlessly incurring extra drag. I don't know if 278 meters per second is the magic speed. This seems okay. So the next step is don't do a front flip when you press the space bar. And then very, very, very slowly. That's too fast. You see, the problem is, you know, the thing is flipping over itself when we do this. I'm not sure if everybody's noticed, but the principal problem with this, in my opinion, is that when we press the D key for longer than half of a second, it does a front flip. I don't respect it. What about a consistent, like, 10-degree turn? We could probably do this one just going straight up, but... It's alright, you're punching through some heavy air right now. Captain has indicated the seatbelt sign will remain fastened. No, okay, you tip. There's like and I mean this in the physics sense. There's a moment where our yaw gets like super messed up. I don't know if it's because the top half of this rocket is tall and the bottom half is stubby. So we got like we're driving like a rear-wheel drive car. It annoys me though. So going straight is fine, but pivoting is a problem. So you know what? Don't forget the gravity turn forever, but forget the gravity turn for now. Let's focus on making sure that we actually get something done in this episode, rather than circle jerking over. I can't keep our ship from doing a dang front flip over and over. This mission has to be a success, or I'm gonna lose like a catastrophic amount of confidence. Keep an eye on your apoapsis. I think we've, you know, made a smart decision by limiting our throttle to start with here. So we're essentially 40% done with our fuel right now. Continues to rise. That's fine. Probably introduce just the slightest angle. I'm begging you, just the slightest. No. You're almost losing it. You guys don't know I'm fighting it right now. And here comes the pain. Once we get into space, who cares if we do a front flip? We can recover without much loss of acceleration. Apoapsis continues to rise, which is positive. For now, at least. Remember that we want more fuel. Because we want this to get us into orbit. I don't really care about completing the Twitch contract on this one. If we do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. And again, rest assured I'm aware of the, of our desire to do a gravity turn. I understand the physics behind it, and the geometry behind it. Unfortunately, I've deemed it an unnecessary safety risk at the present moment, so just take these engines, get yourself positioned roughly to the horizon. Now, I've been pretty weak at my orbiting game recently, and I'm a little ashamed to admit that. I'm hopeful. Wait, what's our electrical charge at? 448 out of 450. I like that. Okay. T-minus 53 seconds. Just hold it. Hold it. In 15 seconds, we're going to hit full throttle. I think we should have enough power to get us into orbit and maybe even take us to the moon with this next stage, because it's going to be so much lighter than it is right now. And again, this mission, it might be like, one, go. It might seem like we're doing something that we've done before, but remember what Steven Tyler said in Ragdoll. He said, never gonna do me, never do me, never gonna do me, never gonna do me like a movie like you done me before. You guys remember that. I think we're in desperate need of any kind of success. I'm just being honest with you. You know, sometimes you just need a win. And I think this is an episode in which we need a win, lest I run the risk of being discouraged. Well, I shouldn't have said that we were going to get to the moon on this phase, but it certainly appears that we will have a decent chance to get into orbit. We're more than halfway there already. It's taking his sweet time, I'll admit, but that's why we like the skipper. The skipper is like... it's got some hurting power behind it that allows us to, like, very easily travel a great distance. You know, change our vectors at a moment's notice. And I mean this one not in the physics sense. Okay, so we're about to hit orbit. And periapsis appears. Stop it when it's around, you know, 50, 60,000. Still got a little bit of fuel left. Phase 1. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Phase 1 has accomplished what we set out to do. Inefficiently, but successfully. Now, this might actually be the most important step for landing on the moon, is setting the approach vector correctly. This seems good to me. In 2 hours, we'll meet it. Then at periapsis, we'll burn retrograde. Actually, well, yes, we will burn retrograde, but we'll burn retrograde to get ourselves into orbit so that we can actually use we can do the twitch test. Okay, so in 23 minutes, we're going to burn for 28 seconds. This engine is not going to last us 28 seconds. It will probably last us less than 10 seconds. So we're going to have to use our other engines for a little bit, but their purpose is to get us to the moon. So I don't mind that. So oh yeah, we're going to burn for 27 seconds in 23 minutes. And tons of electricity still left. 23 minutes. So we're going to burn at T-minus 14 seconds. Caught something on the Usher tour, you had to let it burn. I want to get back to a stage where we're all rooting for each other in Kerbal Space Program. I don't mind the backseating. I'm an adult. And I recognize that it's actually one of the most efficient ways to relay information to me. I'm very not anti-backseating. So all the constructive criticism I appreciate in the interest of helping us get better. So this is our, but I want us to all be on the same team, even if it is tough love from one side. The whole point of this phase is to get us to the moon. All it does is get us to the moon. It has no other purpose. Except to preserve the fuel from our lander so that our lander can use whatever fuel it needs to land and then hopefully have a lot left over to recover. And return to Kerbin, I should say. Hopefully we do have a decent amount of fuel left. We're never going to use these Twitch engines again, by the way, when we complete this contract, so I'll be a very happy camper if this actually works and we can get these things out of here. Because the way I've got these equipped right now is probably idiotic, but... 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Good job. Okay. Honestly, you might as well warp near to periapsis. And remember, we're going to do a little bit of science on the way down, or maybe in orbit around the moon, and then we're going to do a little bit of science on the surface as well. Stop. Yeah, okay. So at periapsis, we want to be pointing retrograde. This retrograde sounds like a Pokemon. Retrograde! Slow your roll. No, this is... Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, you know what? Do another rotation. Just slowly. Do it more slowly this time. Turns out impatience is kind of a cardinal sin if you're an astronaut. Who would have thought? Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Make another little burning periapsis, baby. It's our electrical charge. 435, dude. That's tons. These batteries are never going to make it back. And that's completely okay. So we're going to warp to periapsis where we can make the most of our fuel. And then we're just going to... we're going to burn until we're in orbit, basically. Whoa, that scared the crap out of me. We're gonna run out of fuel. Rather, we're gonna have to use some fuel from our lander. Which almost bums me out even more. Because that's the whole point of that stage, is just to do that. I don't know, we should just dump this Twitch contract. Because if you interact, your life is on contract. So probably, again, we should wait until periapsis and then... do our burn, but... that seems okay. Alright, what's the next step? Oh, it's quite simple. Now that we're in an unstable orbit, I'm gonna warp to like here. And this is gonna be close. But honestly, my landing game, and I'm just asking for trouble at this point, but my landing game has been relatively on point recently. We're 100,000 meters above the surface. And we want our retrograde marker to be on the pole. It's all about changing speed at this point. It's getting there. Is it annoyingly slow? Yeah. Very much so. I basically hate the moon right now. Remember that time like 4 days ago we got to Minmus by accident? Well, we did a flyby of Minmus by accident. Those were the days, dude. I guess, like, there's no reason to or not to put our landing gear out right now because there's no air drag due to the fact that there's no atmosphere. Probably go speed 10 for a bit. No, I was gonna say, do not pop the crew hatch. That's a bad idea. tons of electric charge left. So we have, if nothing else, and if we have to do a second launch over the course of this episode, at least we've now fixed our electrical problem with respect to re-entry. Now, I expect these batteries to explode during re-entry. So be it. If he dies, he dies. That's not really what Ivan Drago sounded like. That was more like Ivan Frago. If he dies, he dies. Ivan Frago. Just when I think you couldn't be any stupider, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself. Drago, living in a movie, Rocky 4, to be so specifically, Drago. I must break your ears like a piece of iron, Ivan Drago. Hear me out here. Give me some ×5. Not because I have a death wish, but rather because otherwise it's going to take us 10 years to hit the surface here. And I'm going to be using so much fuel in the process that I think it's potentially prohibitive. It shouldn't work out like this. I'm worried that my leg is going to get caught on this crater. We still got a little bit of fuel left. More than usual. Was not at all paying attention to my retrograde marker. Sick. Okay, still got like half of fuel. Closing in on landing. I'm relatively pleased with our rate of slowdown. I don't see a reason to adjust it right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think we should actually make ourselves speed up the rate at which we're hitting the ground here. Now we want to slow ourselves down. Still feeling good? Still feeling good? He's done it. Okay. I really, really want to get back. Like, really, really, really want to get back. Maybe we should just transmit instead. We owe ourselves to see if we're close to Jeb. We're not even close. Okay. So we have about half of our fuel remaining. Let me pause momentarily. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back. We're going to Google getting to Kerbin from moon. Give me a moment here. It's loading. Forums.Kerbal Space Program. Fly up till you're at 800 meters per second. Check that you are in Kerbin orbit on map. Burn retro, so periapsis is 30,000. Deploy parachute in space. Time accelerate, get food, watch TV, end flight, win, eat food. Dude, some of this. Take off, flying east. Achieve orbit. Wait until you come around to 30 degrees from where your orbit would cross the line indicating the moon's future path. The west pole, so to speak. Then start burning prograde until you see the escape marker. Fly up till you're at... You know what? This is a good time to quick save. I feel like we have the ability to make it back. So let's start and test it out here. Close doors. Thank you. You got fuel. Nothing to fear. 800 meters per second. So what was that first one? Fly up until you reach 800 meters per second. Check that you're in Kerbin's orbit. Burn retrograde so periapsis is 30 kilometers. See, I see a problem here. I guess 800 meters per second is the escape velocity to escape the sphere of influence of the moon. Is that correct? Fuel's going down a little faster than I'd like. I mean, we're not going straight up, so it could be part of our problem here. So we're going to try multiple things to make this one work. This one seems the least... let me put it this way. The most foolproof. Even if it might be the least efficient. So let's give this one a try first. We are using a lot of fuel to reach 800 meters per second. So I cut because we did reach the point at which we're captured by Kerbin's orbit. Once we're in Kerbin's orbit at periapsis, and this is gonna, I mean, we're gonna be in like a 12-day orbit here, but if it works, dude. Alright, so we've been captured by Kerbin. The next step is you burn retrograde at periapsis until your periapsis decays to 30,000. And maybe you want to do this at apoapsis. That's what the quick save's for. Dude, we're getting a lot of mileage out of this. We need fuel to slow down, though. You're decaying too slowly! I need the fuel! 1.3 million, that's not gonna do it, dude. You got this, you got, oh my god, I mean, we need, I gotta staple 4 more fuel tanks to this freaking thing. 30,000, 30,000, 30,000. You still got some fuel. Where's the pale blue dot? There it is. Next step. Warp here. Right.
Almost threw up in the bathroom.
I will save us from this Tomo vomit, but first, I've got a highly...
He threw up twice.
I've got a highly sensitive endeavor to tackle first. Namely, I would like to not be traveling this quickly as we re-enter. I gotta close that. Okay. Give it a sec. Give it a sec. We have not burned up yet. We're still slowing down. We probably could have done so faster. Nerves of steel, buddy. Nerves of steel. Why? Why have you done this to me? In my moment of need! It's okay. No, it's not okay. Any science? Dude, the heat shield is half off? That strikes me as being real bad. But you know, I know at this point, this guy's making it back. That's not what we're interested in, though. We're not going to capture the science, and we need this science. Everything else has been burned away. So we're going to reload. This is in the interest of performance. So next, take off. Fly to the east until we get into orbit around the moon. That one will work. I probably could have slowed down faster and earlier. And also, if we hadn't entered that horrible maneuver just before getting back to Kerbin, life probably would have been a little bit simpler. So this one is basically get into orbit and then burn when you hit like this point, I think, or maybe that point. Yeah, maybe we're getting into orbit in the wrong orientation. It's fine though. Maybe. What do I know? Okay, still got fuel. Still got fuel for now. Almost there. This is not the way to enter orbit around the moon, dude. You should be burning way faster at, This one's not gonna work. I'll tell you that straight up. Let's go back. This is me testing a cosmopolitan grab bag of things. So what was the problem there? Why in the world would we ever just accelerate at a 45-degree angle forever? What we should do instead is accelerate until we have an apoapsis that's, you know, a reasonable amount, and then burn on the horizon so that we're not wasting a ton of fuel creating an elliptical orbit that is, you know, unnecessarily large. Like, I don't think there's a problem of making an apoapsis of maybe a few dozen kilometers and then just going for it, like 36, let's say. 40, sure. Warp here. Give me a little slash on that, please. Thank you. I'm gonna burn prograde, or roughly along the horizon. Along the horizon. And remember, here we're just trying to create a more sensible orbit. The same way we would do so around Kerbin. I will not rest until we return with this science. Dude, you're killing me here. Sick. Nice periapsis, dude. Okay, now. It's not really an orbit. It's close. Add maneuver. You're gonna burn prograde. What's the whole point of this? We want to create a maneuver that allows us... I mean, we can get into orbit around Kerbin very easily. I would prefer to do so in like one fell swoop. Like that right there is actually what I'm talking about. That's perfect. How long do we have to burn for? 30 seconds. We can do that. While the streets have no name music plays. Where the streets have no name. Give me a quick save here. That's like way too much. In 45 minutes, we're going to burn for 30 seconds. I think we can do that. I got high hopes, dude. 30 seconds of burn. 30 seconds to Mars? Nah, dog. More like 30 seconds from Mun. The real question is going to be how much fuel we have left to slow ourselves down. But, you know, we put our faith in freaking blast hard cheese, buddy. More or less correct maneuver. Come on. We need a win. This is a big one for me. 15 seconds. We're gonna have some fuel to slow down with. One. Too much. That's fine, though. Periapsis does not exist. Warp me to moon escape, please. You see my concern, though, because it looks like periapsis should exist. Well, I guess we'll warp to... Let's give ourselves a quick save here. I guess we'll warp roughly to here. And we will hope that we can slow ourselves down enough, even though we did... Our maneuver being messed up actually has caused some problems. So we still want to burn along the retrograde. Does it matter when we slow ourselves down? Maybe it does. We're going to be going pretty fast on the way back in here. Don't let this thing trick you. It's a big planet. It looks like we're closer to it than we actually are. I'm gonna make an educated guess. Say right about here is where I'm gonna start my my counter burn. And ideally, all we want to do is have left ourselves enough time that we actually run out of fuel by slowing ourselves down as much as is plausible. And Donka, you should be sweating right now. I'm being real with you. I don't have the greatest track record here. We do have a lot of electrical charge left. Give me a quick save there. Just give me a quick... I don't know why I've got such an Aerosmith repertoire on display here. Repertoire. Also, AKA an Ofra. Not to be confused with Ofa. Which is not French for egg, but that was what I was going for. Wear a helmet like a Jofa. Those don't exist anymore, but... See you in heck, buddy. Alright, very important now that you stay pointing retrograde. You're going fast. I'm not gonna ever tell you you're not going fast. And again, I think the batteries are toast. It's possible. Oh man, that's looking hot. But the heat shield is the moneymaker. When the heat shield goes, we're in trouble. I didn't do a crew report with her on the moon, did I? Well, you know what? What's the next step? I'm gonna start transmitting. There's no reason for us to worry so much about bringing science back if we could instead just transmit it and lose a little bit of the value of the transmission, but still. Clearly we've got some problems here, but I'm gonna choose to focus on the positives here, which is that we lived. We got an astronaut back from the moon. Our rocket was capable of landing theoretically gathering some science, and then returning. What was the principal problem? Well, none of the science made it back, and all of our thermometers sheared off. All of our barometers sheared off. Couldn't he use like some higher caliber screws or something? Either way, maybe this flight will give her enough experience that she levels up. Not that that's our biggest problem, but we've at least got to click the green recover vessel button. So it's mild progress. Although I know this, we're probably in like, oh, you know, we did get 28. Oh, no, we got 5 science. Did she level? She leveled. Okay. So, I mean, 2 steps forward, 1.9 steps back. And I know we're probably in oh no, baby, what is you doing territory, but we got a lot to learn. Gravity turning is a problem. Stage 1 of the rocket seems to work just fine. Landing seemed okay. Returning seemed okay, although we need to carry more fuel or use it better so that we have more to slow down with. But hey, you know, we're making lateral progress, which is a bit of an oxymoron, but thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.